to out around Mount Clemens out in there.
Uh-huh.
They stayed a year or two. Then she died while they were here. Then
Whose children was she? Whose child was she?
what?
Whose child was she?
Well, she'd be Grandpa Miley's sister.
Uh-huh.
His dad was with him too. He had a farm
In
right
Mount
next to him.
in Mount Clemens or up
No, up at Deckerville.
at Deckerville, uh-huh.
Yeah. But I tried here, out around Utica and in through there because I figured that's where she was buried there. I never did run across her.
Huh. So when did the Mileys come to America?
It was before the Great Fire
Uh-huh.
because they hold, of course, that was all up for grabs after that fire.
Right.
Lumber company didn't want it. The lumber was all gone. And you wanted 80 acres. All you had to do, I guess, is stake it out.
Yeah.
And he ain't staked out 80 acres. His brother had, I think he had 120 or something like that. He had more. He had a couple barns on it. And they lost. Well, Grandpa lost everything in that fire.
In the Great Fire? Uh-huh.
What the hell would you do with 11 kids and fire destroyed everything he had?
Yeah. Where would you live? So your mother was left homeless after the Great
She
Fire.
wouldn't know. She was only a baby
Uh-huh.
when the fire went through. My mother was only about 2 years old. They said
Uh-huh.
be 78 in there someplace.
Mm-hmm. So her whole family was left homeless, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder where they lived.
Well, your neighbors was your union then.
Mm-hmm.
Someone would take you in, and of course that brother that had 13 kids,
Yeah.
he had a pretty big house.
Uh-huh.
I think they went bunked with him,
Yeah, till they could build the house the next year. Huh?
and the house he built was nothing. He didn't have any money, you can tell that. The lafters were those round things from the forest.
Yeah.
And he made an upstairs, 2 rooms up there, one boys and one girls. That's where the kids slept. And on that goddamn roof, it wasn't insulated or anything. It would be just snow right within 2 feet of you.
Yeah.
Oh, it
We
must
should
have
probably
been
put all
cold.
those cards in
Huh.
the back.
And, that's what they had, and that's what they got along with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then you got, ooh, a very nice blanket.
I don't know. I think that was Kathy and Ruthie and
Mm-hmm.
Alice, I think, put in on that.
Oh, they went in on that present there?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think so.
So when did the Mileys come to America?
When did they come?
Yeah.
Well, which one in family do you want now? Miley's or do you want the McDonald's?
The Mileys. When did they come to America?
Miley's came from up in Canada. It was,
Yes.
I can't think of the town now. And of course, they had horses that they came down here. They must have had places they staked out that the farmer would take them in.
Mm-hmm.
And they came all the way from New York State, all the way down. And they settled here for a couple of years, just, I think maybe a rental or something. And then they went up there. Well, they must have found out the land was cheaper up there.
Up in Deckerville?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
went up there, and that's where they staked out their land, and of course it was all given to them, more or less.
Right. So they came.
I don't think that any of them ever had a American citizenship,
Really?
you know. Grandpa Miley, I don't think, or McDonald, I don't think they ever went after it.
Uh huh. They just lived here.
Yeah,
You could probably just go across the border, no one would ever check anything,
quite a few people died in that fire.
huh? Uh huh.
Maybe.
One guy, he was going to be smart. He put his kids and wife down in the well. They're not that deep. They're kind of spring-fed well.
Uh huh.
But the well was right next to the barn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn barn burned and fell over on top of the well and burned all of them in the well.
Wow.
I think it's 4 or 5 kids was in there.
Wow. That's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. So there were quite a few families
You look like
that lost
a cutie
families.
patootie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I call your Aunt Heather.
And there was no fire departments, and you just had a lot of burnout, more or less.
Yeah. What could you do? Everything was so spread out.
Yeah.
So the Mileys lived in Canada, north of New York, huh? They're
Hamilton, I think it was.
Hamilton, Ontario, huh?
I think that's what the name was.
Uh huh.
So they would come down with horse and sleigh.
Mm.
Then, I think, probably in the winter time.
Yeah.
Need to
Then
open
they'd
yours.
have to go back and get their families.
Huh.
Or build a house first. Well, Grandpa Miley's, that would be my grandpa's father.
Mm-hmm.
He had a log house. And when I was a kid, I used to go over there and play around in that old log house. And finally they tore it down, but that's where he lived.
Mm-hmm.
He probably was the original one to homestead it.
Right.
Because Grandpa, I think, was about 16, 17 years old when they come in here.
So when did the Mileys come over from Ireland, do you think?
I don't know. There's quite a little bit in that book about them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get one of those books?
I got one about the McDonald's, not about the Mileys, I don't think.
I don't think there is one in the Mileys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the Mileys. I wonder when they left.
I tried
Ireland.
to get into the Mileys a little bit, but I don't know. Oh, I could have some, because the families are right there.
Mm-hmm.
I could have got them,
Yeah.
but I never did get into the Mileys.
Hmm.
Grandpa, I worked for him for years when I was a kid,
Uh-huh.
so I was pretty close to Grandma and Grandpa. When I went up north, every time I'd always go over to visit their grave.
Uh-huh.
Their grave is, I don't know whether you ever did see it, but it's like this, and it goes right down a hill. And I used to stand there and say, how in the hell did they ever dig those 2 graves? There's 3 graves down there.
Right.
Because the hill is just like that. And finally it dawned on me. It was, it all washed away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They slid down there.
yeah. They didn't stand down there. When they were buried, it was even with the ground.
Yeah, on top of a hill.
And you know why they had picked it? Because they figured, well, this will be nice and dry. It's got lots of
Yeah.
lots of places for the water to go.
Mm-hmm.
They picked the wrong one, I tell you.
Yeah.
Grandma and Grandpa was going to go down that hill sometime.
Yeah.
Might be another 100 years. but they've already gone.
Yeah.
Larry tried to walk down there, but it was so full of bushes and so forth. But I think maybe they're already gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.